Okay, we mean the youth. So all these people together, how do you think they'll feel more safe to join a violent protest or a non-violent protest? We get numbers. People feel comfortable to join when we are non-violent. And after they have joined, definitely it becomes a burden to us to remain non-violent in order to create some form of safety for those who have joined. What do we gain? We gain international sympathy. Naturally, people will side with the side that looks weaker, and that will be us, the oppressed, non-violent protesters, right? Yeah, that's in addition to, being able to even put up the protest itself and make it last, because we don't know how long it can last. It could be days, right? This is something we have to put into our minds as well. Anyway, yes, wake up. You have a question. By the way, if you want to say something, you just put up your hand. I want this to be interactive. I know Wake Up is the only one who has put up their hands. I don't know, Suna, if you want to say something, or Good Girl, or Sarah, and anyone who wants to say something, ask for the mic. All right? Wake Up, do you want to add? Make an
I
addition.
think
Who's
Oh,
speaking now?
I'll let my leader to go first sooner, then I'll come back later. Sooner,
All
go
right.
ahead.
Sebo Jakunkubia. Um, I appreciate Florence for hosting this space and Sarah. Yes, there's something that we need to address, very very important, and we have been talking about it, and I'm happy that also Florence is talking about it. For me, it's always my concern. Um, in anything that we want to do, people must be informed, or people must be aware. I don't know for me how much I'm going to talk about it, but this kind of awareness is very very important, because we can't just do things automatically. Like, there's that kind of message that must go into the population. The population must know of what they need to do. And I like the 2021 message. The 2021 message was Bakakwata, and that was a message. That was a message. So there's a way how it charged people. You know, there's a song that people used to sing on those rallies. I remember it was that, I think it was Nyanzi. He used to sing those songs, like revolutionary songs. Oh, wakakwata msimaji bichi bichi. There's a way how it motivates even the weak. You know, so if someone is going to vote, and then the slogan is protest vote. Protest vote must be charged. It must be charged with another slogan, another another. Kanchogene mu Luganda nti it must be charged with walina okubeerawo message a motivating oba ekyamusa abantu. You know, like nga bwegambye nti during 2021 there was that 2020 there was that kind of revolutionary songs ezabeeranga ku rallies and all that. Nti simanyi ne bwakakwatamu ne bwana bakakuttemu ne bwana bakakuttemu like that. Ateekwa kugenda. That is something that is something that makes people like feel like, yeah, ono guy, you know, kuluno, like the messaging. Otherwise, a message they are appealing right now, saying revolutionary. You call it what? You call it what? It is called what? Protest vote. It is not yet that kind of thing. Protest vote, but there is something that must accompany that protest vote, but there must be another slogan. I'll take you back to what? To Dr. Besigye in 206, I think 201 he had a slogan nti Sennyondo oba Sennyondo Museveni omuyita quarter pin kati nga yagamba ye Sennyondo ngagamba aze kuba kiyondo aze quarter pin abavuga bike mugimanyi nga yeyita Sennyondo so nti aze kujja mu quarter pin because those days nga NRM bagamba nti Museveni ye quarter pin nti egenda mu Nannyondo evaamu Nannyondo so akalulu tekasobola mujjamu so basically ne bamuyita Sennyondo quarter like ngati yatambulanga n'ennyondo nti ye aze kujja mu quarter pin so in that there's a way how it charged the voters ogamba ono musajja ye aze n'ennyondo aze kujja mu quarter pin kino ekifuuse ezzike so I wanted to say that in Luganda ndoza abakitegedde mukitegedde nti even when the message is telling people to vote it does not anyway put them to be ready to take. And I want to say it when it's still early. Muleme gamba, you know what? Maybe the message. No, the message is saying revolutionary what? Because
Protesting vote.
how it is called. Protesting vote.
Never yet.
The message. Yeah, the message protest vote, but it doesn't put omuntu ali mu kyalo agenda okulonda teyina ngeri gye muteekamu it's a normal word
oyagala vibe
yes ate kuba tali bayivu it is even worse kuba tali bayivu it is worse because maybe omuntu omuyivu mwayinza ogamba maybe akitegedde omuntu maybe kati oli bwawuli babanga si muyivu mu nagamba protest maybe protest ndoza kuno kwekalakasa tukube kaluka kwekalakasa oba kwekalakasa oba tumale okulonda twekalakasa something like ayinza keep perceiving about ne message must go beyond that sawa zino there is a time for it for me who believe in that I will say that message kubeera delivered in a very nkankose ekigambo ekinokozebwa in a very radical way togamba bugambi this is going to be a protest vote it is not going to be a protest vote if message tegendeddeko na buwakatirwa bugifuula receiving sa with a lot of gamba ya mbutufu okitegeera like them at I always tell people you must be voting from the villages. You don't see things. Kampala is always calm. There's no even excitement of voters. But you vote in the village and see. Like you must understand the realities. I need my people. Okuba nti buli muntu yenna ayina agamba wallahi okitegeera tu wallahi kuluno nga tewetaga na kimale wallahi kuluno okitegeera that kind of excitement. I told you in 2021 nayambala suit yange bwet nayiteka kanzu very smart. That was the first time to be smart when I'm going to election, because there's a respect that wallahi. So that kind of feeling that you have when you're going to electoral commission must be transformed into anger in case something goes against what you have voted. Tetusobola agenda ku electoral commission nga buli kimu kiri normal. When we go normally, it will be very easy still to go back home when everything goes the other side. So for me, why I want to say this, why I only have one point, I don't have others. The reason why I want to say this is the messaging, how we want the people. We must really put that message early. Unfortunately, now we cannot do that because this is election year. I'm not going to stand imposing a more hijacking the electoral commission but I'm not going to stand. So for those who are going to stand, you should have a collective message. You should have a collective message. And I will also bring this one that party primaries, political party primaries, should be a center also of education and also mobilization. That political parties, when they are doing primaries, or ndi bugendera njagala kwesimba against Western Prince for a card, for a party card. We mobilize people. As we are mobilizing, we are educating people of what they are supposed to do. So from those people, from there, campaigns, abantu bajja manya nti okay, on a sort of in case gituwunyidde. This one is useless. So someone came to my DM today Nangamba. We need activists to be standing in political positions. And dada yachogera one time here. But nesikiraba munyo. Nekata I understand. So me will you have nga manyi that person will stand on the argument. You know what? Kino chetu kola. That person I think is better. Era abamasuti bonna bonnaze nabatadde mabega mugongo. Anyone gwe manyi nti this person siwa kusenika manyo, that one I will support, whether in which party, because I know he's better than those who will go and are seated at their home waiting for swearing in. And those are many of them that we saw in 2021. So bottom line here is the message here must be clear in time. Abantu balina okubeera charged mu time. Protest vote, the word protest vote is not enough. Completely not enough. Nze mpozinga mumuchiwulya, but me I don't feel it. I don't feel it is a revolutionary word. You must accompany it with something different. Nga wembagambye nti mu 2021 bayimbanga eze nyimba nti ne bali banga alemeddeko atekwa kuteeka okugenda. So there's a way how those things charge people. Okitegeera? Nenzo I will go to protest vote, I will go and vote, then I don't know what next. And I'm talking about the ordinary Ugandan. So get a kunze. Okay. Lastly, someone said the protest doesn't need so many people, which I also believe that. We don't have to have the whole country, Northern Uganda, Western Uganda, Bagambi. No, that is useless. It's always those determined people that can do something. The determined people can always do something. Do you have determined people? I will wait to see. For me, I will just stop here for now. Thank you so much, Florence and Sarah.
Alright, so nobeera wa mala okuŋŋaanya ganga yange tuwulire twe address tukuŋŋaanye ganga wano tuzze tukusibe emiguwa
Montwale wabyabakama. Okay. National ID yange yaggwako, so I'm not allowed to stand. So all conditions ezizikiriza kwesimbawo. Naye nga mpozi yabakama.
The state minister said it doesn't matter, Sam. You didn't hear David Muhoozi. He said it doesn't matter.
Okitegedde ati anoonyayo escape tugenda kusiba empale tugenda kuyiza ku mpale gye tugenda nnyini okusibisa ogenda tuuka nga oyambadde kinu ng'akaabuddewo na mpale empanvu
Nenga seriously, I speak here. Bw'oba olondera mu Wakiso, ng'olondera mu Kampala, olondera Mpigi, mwekka ensibe yeetaaga okuba nga muli active. That let me even say it before I leave here. Bw'oba ng'olondera mu Wakiso, ng'olondera Kampala, ng'olondera Mpigi, ensibe yeetaaga Uganda. Because some people think like, oh, Gulus, they have to do what? No, they will not. No one from Gulu will walk to Kampala. No one from Barara will walk to Kampala. But then the people of Barara, the people of Gulu, can stop their business when Kampala is not working. So anything happening must happen in Kampala. Anything to happen must happen within the central region. So being in the central region, we bear the burden of taking responsibility. There's no one agenda kutuyamba. There's no one. You know? Ogamba simanyi Northern Uganda simanyi teba coordinating there's no one. Just no. You being in the central region, being in the capital area, you bear the difficulties, and also the like. You get everything good and bad. But you have good services, not good fair services, but also also the responsibility of being there near the city. You also bear that responsibility. So that's why in Nabagama, that's why in the central region, you always find the military in Nakaseke, in Luwero, in Mukono, in Mpiji, Wakiso, and Kampala. When you live there, Nogamba Chiboga, you won't find anything. You won't find, because it is far. You won't find any, so not even a roadblock. Not even a roadblock. The reality is, anything to happen, it must happen in those districts the mentioned. If there's nothing happening in Mukono or Mpiji or Kampala or Wakiso or what, those nearby districts, then there's nothing that is going to happen. Everything must happen in those districts. When wakasitola banga omuntu Wakiso, omuntu w'Nansana, omuntu waffe Kachiri nga tayimiridde just no kaweddemu. I'm not expecting wounded Ugandans from Port to Kabalole to like, you know, it is difficult, you know. So it's always started by those in the abali okumpi n'ekyoto. They are always the people to start, and so the revolutionary message must go deep in those people. Must go deep in those people. Barieri abewala, you can tell them to vote against poor services. Baba government we balonda government bage ensi yabwe genda fukanga Dubai, but it's still very poor. So you tell them that kind of message. That's what they need to hear. But these people abali okumpi n'omuliro n'ekyoto, they must be given a revolutionary message. Bali message tebakwata konyo tebabitega na bitegeera. And so we should understand the kind of message to deliver to different kind of groups. Abe owegulu weyo yetaga mugamba ebyo ebintu ebimuluma nti batugamba mulonda NRM ate laba temuswana kubeera na even oluguudo tuba muyina flyovers, muyina ebintu birene ebirungi. Kampala erye ebonaabona ffe balonda opposition bo bali mu kubonaabona, naye mmwe batugamba mulonda NRM tubali tugenda kujja no nga tumanyi tujja kuvisitinga Dubai oba, you know, tujje tuvisitinge ku nsi ennungi. Naye those are things that those 5 districts around the central region bo balina okubeera ne ka message yako nga kali konko nnyo. Revolutionary vote, the other message is what? Ne bwali banga alemeddeko ateekwa kuteeka ogenda. Those songs must be mulina okunoonya ennyimba endala. Good girl yangamba y'omu ku choir leaders ng'akyasoma. So muyiye ennyimba endala mu choir leaders, you know. Very, very important to have the kind of message to deliver to accompany that slogan. Thank you.
Good girl, anyway, thank you, Suna. Nesselando was the level of participation again depending on the level of mobilization. Elanga government, people must be informed, and now get day, the one they will participate. Abana batabategedde era nga they are lost ship nga if the level of mobilization is low, and actually it's not even just the mobilization about specifically mass uprising. Kubanga abantu bajja londa because this is routine. They we go vote. Kitegeera. In fact, kibali mbwongo nti bakikoze, maybe it's not even the first time, the second time. This is a routine thing that they know how to do, and they will do it. They will go vote, right? But the message of mass uprising, tugenda kusituka, following this and this and this, era tugenda kusituka bwetuti nti bwe tusituka tugenda kola kino, emphasizing non-violent discipline. Ekintu ekyo, for me, one thing why I have put up this space, I know social media is one of the tools that we can use to educate ourselves. N'okweyigiriza n'okumanya, even brainstorming, n'okumanya kiki tulina okukola ne kiki tutalina kukola. Social media is one of the tools. Number 2, leaders many agendas have started on social media. Never taken up by the leaders about the ground. So for me, I know we are not speaking in vain, and I really want us to speak openly. We are not speaking in vain. If we make enough noise, budget chitwala, maybe they will incorporate it into the programs. Education will go on. Mobilization will go on. Never somehow if we also to be like because this country we have equal share. Let's be honest. Achilaba. And it's also important that we understand enough opinion is it's also our responsibility to determine the path we take. Tugenda kukwejja tutya mu buwambe. Also it's our responsibility. Tuleme kulowooza nti someone else is going to do it for us. Nti oli aba planning ate bw'amala planning ati executing. Nti tulina abo tufuuse ba supervisor. Twejje mu supervisor mode tubeeko kye tukola. Sarah, you want to say something? Please unmute.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I've been inspired by the previous speakers. I think, oh gosh, who was it who said that somebody said that we need to fight for Dr. Kizza Besigye to come out of incarceration. And we all agree on this. And of course, we did the best that we could with what we have. However, we need to realize that apart from Dr. Kizza Besigye, there is hundreds of people, Ugandans, who are in the military court. And I'm not, I don't want to sound like, oh, we just pick and, or we want Dr. Kizza Besigye to rot. No. But say, for example, if the government changed tomorrow and the system changed, they are not only going to release Dr. Kizza Besigye, they're going to pardon so many people. So I would like us to have that whenever we talk about Dr. Kizza Besigye, to remember that there is also other Ugandans who have been incarcerated for political reasons. So yeah, so whenever we ask for Dr. Kizza Besigye, for Aaron Kizza, we should remember the other Ugandans, the machetes of this world. Right. So my main point was and is, I think it was Sona who sort of gave me this vibe. He talked about messaging, and believe me, messaging is very, very, very important. Messaging is what woke so many people in the 2021, well, from 2019. The message was very strong and it was repeated wherever everyone went. And at this point in time, we might be missing out on that aspect. And Florence, you just talked about social media, how powerful it is. And I totally agree. I think we have not quite grasped, especially on this platform, this group, we have not grasped the power that we have, the things that we can change, and how, I mean, it's there, but tetunaba kwekkiririzamu. So we probably need to remind ourselves every day that we can do this. We have everything it takes, especially the brains. There's great brains in this platform, great brains. Look at March to Parliament. We lead, they follow. And we have to constantly stay ahead of the game. We have to constantly believe in ourselves. The revolutionary vote, it's beginning to filter through. And I saw His Excellency Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, he posted it the other day. He used the hashtag revolutionary vote. So if we sat down and we decided on what message we want, I'm pretty sure it would filter through. And if that message has to be strong enough, has to be easy for someone to understand and to grasp, and then we can translate it in different languages. And that brings us to distribution. Distribution is going to be we can, once we believe in ourselves, I know we can do this. we have at this point in time, I believe that time is on our side, that we don't want to wake up in November and say, oh, let's plan this. We have the capability of doing this. We can actually focus mainly on this, and this alone can change the trajectory of this election. Obviously, most of us here do not believe in the election, but we can use it as a tool to drive to the direction that we want. So maybe if we can think of a message, and then we can later on think of distribution. Of course, we know we can get flyers. We can get, once we get to that level of distribution, we can find the different channels to distribute to. And as I conclude, I want to remind us all that things do not change until things change. Tewali kijja kutuuka okujjako nga tukyusizaamu. So we have to change the way we've been doing things for things to actually change. I beg to submit. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. Kati ekiriwo, funa vibe. Sooner I receive vibe, kati messaging. Well, by the way, mwalabe ekyo ekintu kya protest vote. That thing has been moving a lot on TikTok. Protest vote. Nze gye yatandikira ku TikTok. Ndowooza kati mukyaba, until, was it yesterday when His Excellency Kyagulanyi posted it and said protest vote? He mentioned it, right? So, Banange, we are the people, and at least we know NUP operates under people power. It's us, the people power. It's us. We say whatever we want. We say how we want to be organized. They will pick it up. So let us not fear. Let us not think we are kind of in some kind of isolation. No, we are not. So yes, for me personally, I would like to hear non-violence campaign being preached openly, because we still have a challenge, not one challenge, but we have one of the challenges that we have is that we have been labeled hooligans. So after being labeled hooligans, even in 2020, 18th and 19th, I mean, they killed people. And then they basooka ne bagamba, yeah, they were terrorists. And then, wait a minute, even the 14-year-old who was working with his mother, was he a terrorist? And then they bakyusa. Some were terrorists, some were, they were hit by stray bullets. We have to really read the atmosphere. So that means we have to be very clear in our messaging. We have to be very clear when we are talking whatever we are talking. When we say it's non-violent strategy that we are using, it means there is no space for violence. And in any case, if we create that loophole ourselves, it means the state can plant its own agents amongst us, and we won't even be able to differentiate ourselves from them. Because let us face it, we don't know each other personally, right? So if you live in Kampala, you don't know who lives in Impigi, how will you be able to differentiate who is a true non-violent protester and who is not? If we create loopholes of violence, that, if the police uses force on us, we will also retaliate and give them back their own medicine. So we set ourselves to fail even before we start. And the other thing me personally, I really want us to think about is there is a thin line between a non-violent mass uprising. If it turns violent, there's just a thin line between that non-violent protest and a civil war. We have to be very, very, because I know some of our comrades are like, and again, happily ourselves for failure. For failure, we are setting ourselves for death. Remember, we are mobilizing all categories of people to be part of this, of the protest. If we have children, we have women there, we have people. For example, that can be a turning point that could result into so many people dying. So I think we have to really think about this and know what we lose and what we gain, and the importance of all of us who are going to participate in this protest being on the same page. It's very important. Now, let me just add one thing. Of course, let me add one thing about security. In such a big protest, there is internal security and there is external security. Internal security is for us within the protest itself, that we must be able to recognize that we have to keep our own security. Police am 7, military am 7. They're never gonna be on our side. So that means naffe ffennyini tulina okwekolamu omulimu. Dada, tulina okwekolamu omulimu nti we have to have our own security to make sure those who are infiltrating us, to throw them out. To make sure nti abantu baffe senior citizens abali within the protest, they are protected. To make sure, the children, the pregnant women that are part of this non-violent protest are protected. Also to make sure that even part of us, some of our comrades who may break down, who may reach that point of breakdown and they want to be violent and fight, that they can be isolated. That is internal security. And also remember this thing, each one 10-10. Buli omu, your group, get your 10 people. 10 people, 10-10-10-10-10. That way we know each other. If I have my 10 people, soon I have your 10 people. Good girl, you have your 10 people. You can control them. I can control my 10. You can control your 10. Soon I can control his 10, so I can control the 10. That means we can actually really manage this. Right? Yeah. The other thing is that if we manage to have the large numbers, there is something called defections in the military and the police. Now, what about change? We have been hearing this a lot. We've been saying it a lot. When we are serious to join us. So we can get more security from those men and women in uniform who will choose to do the right thing. But of course, I'm never choosing to do the wrong thing. But when we maintain nonviolent discipline, we can be able to succeed. Kale, kembadde njagala okwongerako manyi sitafuna budde bwakwogera ntiyafuna bwakuwuliriza. Wounded Uganda. Oba good girl. Good girl, do you want to speak now? Oba Wounded Uganda asooke.
No, I'll speak after Wounded Ugandan.
Kale nnyabo.
Greetings. Muganda wange Florence webalo kunganya wano. Am I audible?
Yes, sebo. Ndi webale nnyo emirimu. Batwala speed eyo.
Nkugambye TikTok is not for the weak mikwano gyange. Eri muganda wange bulalamu. However, on a serious note, I think TikTok is more serious right now on issues of the revolution than X. Nchibagambye, see, because one of X.
And I agree with you, by the way.
Si gamba wano temwina kye mukola naye turelaxinzeemu kayala simanyi oba match parliament eyatumalako but naye ku TikTok baganda bange kiri ku TikTok nebaza Santos ejo yabaddeyo buli abeera ku TikTok ng'ava X wano more or less mba mutegeera. Florence webale naawe okuzunga nkulaba ozunga side zeeyo obeera very busy, so webala okuzunza revolutionary message. Ngenda kwogera ku bintu bitono nnyo. Ekisookera ddala Bannayuganda, I think we have reached at a stage where tuba tuwa submissions wano. Gezaako nnyo mu submission yo okutuwa take away points. Kiki kye tugenda kukola. Wabula si tujja wano n'oyogera nga Museveni bw'ali bubi nga bwe bagenda tukuba kikooko. That problem we are having it on TikTok. However, I also see we try to dwell on the same issue when we have an opportunity here. Secondly, we should identify our targets within this process of elections. Museveni is the namunswa of the regime. He is the core deep root that we are trying to uproot. However, Museveni has a lot of big branches. When we cut these branches, it is also working in our favor. For example, the not protest vote, a revolutionary vote. Naye Museveni is not the only person who runs this process. The person actually we should be putting our main focal point on is called Simon Byabakama. Obanze Gwempita Byabakama. Writing number Simon Byabakama should be someone we really need to put pressure on. First, we know that Uganda is a captured land. We know all institutions work for the dictator. However, we are the main funders. Fe abakyasinze okusasulira dictator operations ze. Electoral body ekulembera okulonda e Uganda fe abagisasulira. Naye, we do not question these people when they don't do what is expected of them. Tubaleka ne bagenda with these mistakes, and then in the end tuli Abannayuganda nti wetumala okulonda, tandika okujaganya, tandika okuteekawo embeera. Tekirina buzibu. Weeronda oteekewo embeera naye olina okitegeera nti at the end the final declaration comes from the mouth of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Kati, Byabakama is not going to work if there is no pressure on him to declare what the people of Uganda have decided. I want you to know, for those of you who read history, people like Byabakama are one of the biggest reasons why we have seen bloodshed in Africa. If you have read about the Rwandese genocide, you will find that people who were playing roles like Byabakama, like guys who had radio stations, who would pass message of cutting people, businessmen who would buy machete. These people are the ones actually who added fuel inside the burning fire to make the genocide that massive. But Byabakama's decision, the Electoral Commission, it can cost Ugandan lives or it can save Ugandan lives. The other issue is the diaspora is not voting. Actually, in the Florence, because of this point, the diaspora not allowed to vote. Ekintu ekyo nze kyandumye baganda bange, kyandumye nnyo for these reasons. Diaspora has never been protected by the regime at home. We have, I mean, for those of you who have been attending Uganda is Bleeding Spaces, I think Florence, you have been also part of these spaces. We have had so many Ugandans in Middle East, in, I don't know, Saudi Arabia. People are being killed for organs. People are being abandoned by these same companies that take them abroad to work. They abandon them there. They deny them visas. They cut off communication with their families. And they expect these people to send money back home, which is even used by the regime or overtaxed by the regime to fund its own activities. So, having that in mind, and you add that we cannot even select the leaders to use our taxes, and also keeping in mind that diaspora is among the biggest tax revenue source in Uganda, to be denied a chance to vote. Nze ndabira ddala abaganda bange Museveni alinga atuukiriza plan ye ey'okufulumya bannayuganda mu Uganda n'atufuula refugees and asylum seekers in other parts of the world, n'aleeta abanyarwanda baani n'abayingiza Uganda n'abawa national ID ezitali expired n'abateekateeka okulonda. Ffe bannayuganda abaafuna Museveni ng'owa refugee ne bamuwa buli kimu atufudde saawa zino ba refugee. That thing pains you people. If you cannot send money to Uganda this year, please do. Please. Economically stop sending money. This will help to make the situation back home even worse. Yes, there are so many people in diaspora. You'll find one person in diaspora is supporting at least ekitono nnyo abantu nga bataano. Kati tekambabulire baganda bange nze essaawa zino sente nteeka nnyo mu baana ba struggle n'okusinga mu family yange, because if in my family I have people who are not realizing why they are broke, why they are poor, and yet they are older than us, I don't need these people's lives to be supported anymore. They are as good as dead to me. Awo wendi nnyo. Bino sibyogera lwa bukyayi naye ffe abeesibyeko dictator in one way or the other. Ono omusajja alina emyaka oba 140 akadiye nnyo naye owulira otuula wamu ne weebuuza Museveni ono yatuloga atya obutava mu nnyumba zaffe ne twejjako kazambi y'omusajja. It is because of our actions, things that we do not take into account. You sending money to Uganda supports Museveni's regime and its existence 100%. I want you to know that. Wobo wakana gezaako nnyo okutunuulira sente meka ze bakutaxinga, because when sending money you are taxed as a diaspora person. When your person is receiving money, they are taxed. That money is taxed twice. And you who is sending this money, you are not allowed to vote. Emabegakaawo oliemu okelo oliemu ekyo ekisajja ekiringa oba ki baatamuzeeyi wakyo ate kiri mu kusabinga mu system y'emu kyavaayo ne kigamba if you are outside Uganda you are at your own risk. Baganda bange, even Kenya during COVID twalaba ng'esindika ennyonyi ekima abantu ffe bannayuganda lwaki bano abantu batukyawa bwe tutyo ng'ate ffe we sugarcoat the situation tukikwata like everything is okay. I've not heard anyone talking about why diaspora should not vote. Okay, eyo nsonga njogeddeko nnyo obusungu bwange buli ku eyo, but I want to focus that when we are speaking here mutuwe focal points abantu abagenze ne musanga temuli mu nkalala z'abalonzi. Muyina a lot of things you can do to question the transparency and the integrity of our electoral commission, which we already know it is in a decaying state. You can write letters to these people, you can send emails nga mubabuuza, because Simon Biabakama has to understand that this is not business as usual. A protest vote is not going to happen on the day we are going to cast the vote. No. Since voting is a process, okay? Even protesting in the voting process has to be a procedure, kind of an activity. Let's not just attribute it to one day, to 1 week when we are casting votes. No. It starts today. It starts when they release the roadmap. If the Electoral Commission is not going to provide fair ground for all political parties and things go back like 2021, we should not allow to reach even the voting day. When we have one candidate has the state machinery, and yet is supposed to be another candidate in the election. Nga Uganda nitukitunulira butunuulizi abasomi bagenda just kuTV ne boogera oluzungu ne lugwayo mu kawanga. That is not right, guys. If Museveni is going to contest as the president and other people are presidential candidates, that is already not fair. Number one. Number two, if electoral commission is not going to protect the presidential candidates until oli agenda ku nomination day n'akomawo amasuuti baagayuzizza, omulala n'agenda ku nomination day ne bamuwa protection the ane buli kimu. There is a reason why Muhoozi is a CDF. So if the electoral commission is not going to base on those grounds to disqualify some of the activities of this electoral process, Ugandans, it is upon us to push the electoral commission to stop it. Because we are not going to tell Museveni, stop using our army, and he stops. No. Okay, so when we are submitting here baganda bange temujjanga mutubulira era bagenda tukuba kibooko era abantu mubagambe beteeketeeke bwe batyo teerasi ewammwe mweteeseteese mutya nze bwe mba nva mu kitundu kyammwe nga simanyi ngeri gye weeteeseteesemu I will pick something I will take that message to another person ewaffe mu western uganda mweteeseteese mutya aba western uganda mwe abatalonda na kulonda because in central the voting material it always arrives late saawa 8 9 10 ng'ate tali sente eri mu Buganda naye be basembayo okufuna tali materials ezirondesa fe abali ewala kabaale bundi bujo fe abasooka okufuna materials ezirondesa naye buli omu yalonze dda as early as 6 in the morning you report to the polling station everyone names are ticked. How are we going to address these illegalities, Ugandans? Those are my simple remarks. I really hope Ugandans will start giving objective submissions and put some limit on lamentations. Finally, buli Uganda agenda mu kalulu kano njagala okimanye you have a very important special role to play in this vote. Gwe agenda otuwa abakulembeze betugenda okuwa President Kyagulanyi abagenda okwengalfinga President Kyagulanyi. Kyagulanyi yakugamba this time the people are the ones who must see who is capable of leading them so that the party can take over and give them the cards to lead us. This is intended to avoid having the Twaha Kagabos and the Matthias Mpugas of this life. So bw'oba olina eyo mu Uganda gw'omanyi ye ali very firm tava ku bigambo bye muntu w'abantu. Please abantu abo mubagazise ensonga gye tuliko if possible mubawe positions so that we weaken further the dictator. Aluta continua, dig up on yourself all of you comrades and please this year they say the boat can capsize when you are approaching the shore until you know I think for us we need to engage an extra gear because honestly victory is very very close. Okay, thank you very much Florence.
Thank you so much, Mudadi Ugandan. Bannange, the camera is our best friend. Bw'ogenda okukebeza gy'olondera n'osanga nga computer tezikola, please keep evidence. Okay? Keep evidence. So, sharing ako wano kugundi ku media, social media, ate n'ekirala, you keep evidence. Kubanga like Mudadi Uganda said, an election is an electoral process. It's not a one-day event, right? So, camera, evidence. That's very important. Ivan, you want some kono? Yeah, but okay, it's out quickly.
Yes, Florence, can you hear me?
Cool, yourself.
Oh, all right. That's nice. Kati, I want to first thank you very much for organizing this space. It's a very very nice of you. This is going to be my very first space to talk on and to also engage on. Naye nina obuntu butono nnyo bwe njagala ngenda buyisa mu kwakwa just to raise up the issue. One of the biggest problems that we have in Uganda is the question of transition. I think it is one of the biggest issues that we have. You see, in 1917, Russia was in turmoil, and it was after World War I that the economy was devastated, and this was simply because of the autocratic rule of Nicholas II, because it had left the people hungry, angry, desperate for change, just like the way we are right now. Kubanga, we are simply desperate for change. Now, in February 1917, there was a mass protest, and strikes led to the abdication of Tsar, which ended the centuries of the Romanov rule. And this is what most people call the Russian Revolution. And it was largely spontaneous and unplanned for. But the story didn't end there. Later that year in October, there was the Bolsheviks, a radical socialist party led by Vladimir Lenin, seized power, in October. Then they promised peace, land, and bread, to the war-weary and impoverished Russian people. Now, the challenge that they had was a challenge of transition. Kati bwebwe obuzibu bwe tulina wano mu Uganda, there is a big challenge, there is a big question that we haven't yet tried to put across. How are we going to transition from a system that has been, governing us for over 40 years? Kakati awo abantu abasinga, kubanga omanyi revolution yonna okubeerawo walina okubeerawo abantu abasooka ne babifandinga revolution. Teriyo revolution ebeerawo nga tewali bafandinze bagifandinze. Kakati the challenge we have one in Uganda is we have the young youth, we have the young people, like us, the youth. Naye the people who would want to fund us balaba but they are seated back, they're like, there might be a civil war, there might be an economic collapse, famine, it might raise, political repression, and the rise of authoritarianism. Kakati abantu abo bagezaako okulaba nga we are not yet trying to, be organized, because we need to answer the question of transition. And I think we wali obuzibu obw'amaanyi, because yes, we may protest, we may want to protest and all that, naye abantu abasinga ate abandi badde batuteekamu ya Kalyeri Kasunda bus, balaba challenges that may arise from certain things like that. I think it was MP who talked about the central region, okubeera more focused. Yes, the central region yerina okubeera more focused. Naye that is one way of the government to, okubeera nga esobola okutugavaninga, because ebifo ebirala esazeewo butabikulaakulanya nnyo, butabeeramu nnyo gundi. Abantu abasinga bali wano mu central region. Kakati abantu abasinga baba mu central region, nate central region wewali abantu wewali zi barracks ez'amaanyi ennyingi ennyo. Kati wabaawo nnyo ku engulfing okwo. So I think we as a youth, we need to answer the question of transition, because yereeta obuzibu. Yes, please, Florence.
Yes, you are talking about the question of transition. You are going for an election, right?
Yes.
You are going to an election. And then
right.
What is the purpose of this election?
We need to omanyi election is an election. Yes, we need to be in an election.
Why? Why do we need to be in an election? Why are we going for this election?
No, it's to change the government, because
exactly.
we want to change that.
So we are talking about the question of transition, and we are going for an election, which is technically supposed to change governments, right? And I think, and you are talking about funders and how they are skeptical about, what I know is that the Ugandan election, the Electoral Commission has already put a roadmap, and they have put money for this election already on the side. It's there, right? So we do not need funders for our election, because the money is already allocated. Isn't that correct?
True.
Yeah, that's true. So Yes, yes, we are saying they may not,
No,
they may
like
not, we are saying yes, because we are under dictatorship, right? And I
yes.
think you are mentioning that one of the worries of the funders is that there might be a rise of authoritarianism. We already have
Mm.
one, Ivan. We already under one, aren't we? And this
No,
is
like
what we are
no, like what
fighting,
I'm
right?
no, like what I'm yes.
So for me, uh, I think we should not be worried about who's going to fund us, because as Ugandans, like we know that this election already the finances were ZB, so we don't need funders to fund our election. So what we are saying we
No,
should
like
go.
I wasn't talking about funding the election.
You are
I
saying
was
to
trying to
fund
talk
what?
about funding the protest, the protest.
People are going to raise up. This is Ugandans. Don't worry about. I don't know whether you think about external funders or whatever. That
No, no,
shouldn't
no.
be
I'm
your
not talking
worry.
about external funding.
What are you thinking
No,
about? Are you
Florence,
thinking like
I'm not
Ugandans
talking
can't
about
fund
external
themselves?
funders. I'm not talking about external funders. I'm talking about the group. Or there is a group ebeera mu nsi in most cases eteekamu kasunda bus. That kind of group usually be babeera the middle class oba abantu abalinamu ku ssente mu eyo ensi. Usually they tend to fund protests to change a certain system. Kati those people kubanga abo abantu, because most of the funds ezibeera zandibadde zikola protests ezo zandibadde zisinga kuva mu bannayuganda oba like abantu ab'omu nsi eyo. Kati abantu abo in most cases babeera ne worry nti there might be a rise of like a civil war.
Is that during
Let
an
me
election?
give
When there
an
is
example.
an election, or when there is no election? When it's just an uprising?
Not like no, when there is an uprising. I'm not talking about the election. I'm saying like because the way I
Mm.
yes, please.
And I'm saying we are going for an election.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, we are going for an election. But remember we are talking about protesting, right?
Yes, if
And then I was
like
like
we are saying, if they take our victory, if this process at any point is not free and fair, yes, Ugandans
yes,
are allowed
please.
to raise their voices, to stand up for their victory, right? And I
Yes.
don't think any Ugandan who is going to cast their vote is going to need external funding for that. And if the
No, there
funding
is
is
no I
coming,
wasn't talking about external
okay, if
funding.
it is coming from Ugandans, because if there are Ugandans within Uganda,
Mm,
or even if Ugandans outside
mm,
Uganda, I think this shouldn't be a worry, because it's everyone's responsibility, especially if you're Ugandan. How the
mm,
country goes, how the country develops, and where it goes, it's our responsibility
mm.
as Ugandans. So don't worry about that, Ivan. That shouldn't be your worry.
No, Florence,
Mm.
Sinti no worry yange. Just engeri okay, maybe engeri gye nakiresemu maybe was the one that because I was trying to say
Mm.
that one of the biggest challenges that we have right now as Ugandans is the question of transition. Kati question eyo gye tutanaba bulungi nnyo kusolvinga nga bannayuganda kubanga abantu abamu tugenda mu kalulu. Kati jjukiramu bwe tugenda mu kalulu ebiseera ebimu tusobola kubanga because we are even talking about protest, the protest and what kalulu kati abantu abamu abasobola okubeera nga batuteekamuko kasunda baasi babeeramukko n'ekintu nga bannayuganda
baba bateteekamu bakakuteekamu bo si bannayuganda. nabo benyini bakeeteekemu boonyini bakeeteekemu besundi segera wake up olina question
In
owonedda
that,
Maybe I
oba
just
kati wange
want to
omanyi
slip in. I need to
Ivan
ask
omanyi
Ivan
I,
one.
I
kyengamba
don't know if
lindako
you
wake
guys
up
are
1
getting what
second
I'm trying to say.
lindako 1 second ngambona Ivan omanyi kyetugamba wano nti we should do whatever we can. Ivan kola kyosobola, Florence
Mm,
kole kyensobola. Good God, we have to get away from
mhm,
this chair, or this space where we think we are supervisors, or we think someone is supposed to do it. Omanyi bano bannampala kola kino kola kiri kola kino kola kiri gwe tokola kino gwe okola kiri gwolina ositegeera. We have to get out of that space,
mm,
Ivan. Ositegeera abannayuganda abaagala
mm,
obbasunda, I mean, they should sunda themselves and do what they're supposed to do to make this country develop and move forward. That's all. So, Ivan,
mm, mm.
tweraliirira bannayuganda. In fact, bannayuganda abo bennyini. Anyway, I think you get me. Wake up, over there, question. I think Ivan, wake up has a question or a comment. What do you have?
No,
Oh, okay,
I have a
okay.
question for Mr. Ivan. Mr. Ivan, thank you so much for that submission. But I have one question for you. You
Yes, please.
put a very emphasis on the people. Actually, in my understanding, you correct me if I am wrong. You put too much
Mm.
emphasis on people who will fund our protests from outside. My first question is,
No, 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 no. Just a second. Just a second, wake up. Hmm? I didn't say people funding from outside. I didn't say people funding from outside. Let me okay phrase it. Let me phrase it like this. Wabao abantu wano mu Uganda. Let me give an example. This is just an example. Let me say nga bwe wandirabye Sudiru oba Kirumira oba abantu abagwa mu ttuluba eryo. This is an example. I'm not saying those people, but I'm just giving an example. Abantu abagwa mu ttuluba eryo abasobola okugamba nti you know what, enough is enough, let us do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Naye problemu ebeerawo nti abantu abo ebiseera ebisinga bagenda ne batunulamu ne bagamba but wait, if we do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, there might be a rise of a civil war, oba an arise of a government eyinza n'obutatusobozesa kubeerawo mu bizinesi zaffe bulungi.
okay,
Kakati
okay, I get it.
yes, kati abantu abo kubanga baba baagala nnyo basooke bategeere question ya transition, how is it going to happen? So I don't know now if I'm making sense.
No, you
Yes,
make
Ivan, you are
sense.
making sense. Ekirungi kiba nabo bannayuganda.
Mm,
Ekitegeera
mm,
ebinkwatako
mm,
bibakwatako. Ekitegeera abanga baga. In fact,
true.
they should be part of it. They should be like I am taking
Yeah,
responsibility. They should also be taking responsibility because you know why? They are Ugandans. Ekitegeera. So
true.
whatever it is,
True.
for me, I don't think anyone should be kumwegayirira n'omusiga akazigo, especially if someone is a Ugandan. Omusiga akazigo, omukube ku mugongo, kino na kino, like seriously. And if you are talking about people in those kind of categories, I believe they are
Mm,
smart people. They are smart people, and
mm,
they can know where things should be going. They have the capacity to know
mm,
where the country should be going and how. So for me, I think, in fact, they should be the leaders but they should be leaders in all this. How the country moves forward, how we get Uganda developed, how we get Uganda on the world map out of the third world countries, for example. Yeah, on how we see how does we take this country forward, right? Because again, like you say, they have interests, like they yeah, they want the best environment. They should be able to be part of the people who create that good environment. They should be.
No, Florence.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know how you want. But for an twogera, as we are here saying, we batubbira akalulu kaffe. We bagenda free. If this election is not free and fair, we are going to stand up and express ourselves. That's tekitukwatako, oba they are, if they want to be part of it, they better be part of it. They better join because we know what? They are Ugandans, right? They're Ugandans. So no one has more stake in this country than anyone else. We all have equal stake. So no one should be pampered. No one should be put in like corner, you know? That's my opinion, by the way. All right. I think Ivan is disconnecting. He's dropping. Good girl, are you ready to speak?
I guess she's not here. I just want to add on something on your. There is a statement you
Mm.
made that they should be. They should be. When you mention the word "they should be," it is like it is a must. And I remembered the French Revolution. The French Revolution also had elites, but there is one who made a statement and say that I rather be ruled by one lion than many rats. So, when you say they should be, put in your mind that there are people, we Ugandans, there are people who are comfortable with the current regime, and as we are agitating for change, I think at the back of my mind, I think we should also respect other people's, positions and opinions. Like for us, we meet here, we're talking about change because that is what we believe in. And I think also the other side should leave us or uh, give us space, give us, you know, to express our views, and also us, we should give them space to express their views. For example, if one of the guys here comes here and say that this government is good, this government has done this and this and this, we have a right not to agree with that person, okay? But we don't have a right to harass them. you know there is something Suna talked about, being radical. Now, if you want to go on that stage of radicalism, it needs another setting of organization. Because the same people who are radical cannot be the same people who are diplomatic, and they cannot be the same people who are moderate. And you all need all these people in the struggle. However, when you look at us, because I want us to first go back and visit history, because in most cases we visit the past to understand the present such that we can anticipate the future. Now, I want us to visit the history a little bit. I want us to go back
Wake up.
as early as.
Wake up. I'm going to interject. I'm sorry. I'm going to interject. So we are here. We acted for change, right? And if someone is happy with how Museveni is governing the country, right? Then I don't even expect them to come here because they're already on the other side. Only if, like, this person is looking for information, right? If they are like they don't know, they just don't know. Of course, we know there are people who would rather see the dictator die in that chair than see any fundamental change happen in the country. That we know. And those people, you cannot change them, right? You can't
No,
change
Florence,
them
what I'm saying.
because they are beneficiaries of the system, right?
Okay.
We agree
No,
on
Florence,
that?
yes, you are right. What I'm saying, for us now, we are on the level of moderation, because we are not radicals yet. We are on the level of moderation, and the level of moderation accepts and welcomes different views and different kind of people from walks of life. How you never know. You may even convince such a person to join you. But if you go to
That's
the
okay.
extent, if you go to another step of radicalism, that is where such people are not allowed in the space. You get my point?
Uh,
I
yeah, I do get your
totally
point. I get
yes.
your
But for
point. Yes, we
yes,
accept your views. They may be divergent views, but they have to fit in somewhere because we can have different views about. Now we are talking about non-violent campaign, right? We can have different views about non-violent campaign, right? But at least there is that we are talking about the non-violent campaign, even if we have very different views. But if we are talking about change, then how do you accommodate views that are not for change? There's no way, there's no intersection there. I did study Venn diagrams. I don't see any intersection there, anything in the intersection. I'm sorry. Yeah? Anyway. Yes, we will accept divergent views and everything as long as they fit within. Like I have been talking with, my brother there who was talking about transition, and I'm saying these people, as long as they're Ugandans, it's also their responsibility to pave way for this country. It means it's also their responsibility to participate in making Uganda better. It's as simple as that. Good girl, are you ready to speak?
Florence, let
Hey,
me just give, let me just take just a minute, just 1 minute. Sorry,
yeah,
I came back
just
because
one.
of
Sorry,
Ivan.
Suna.
Mm.
Good girl. When you're ready. By the way, just to let you know, I'll be closing the space soon, maybe in 20 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, just a heads up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So for me, like probably it would be even my last year, and just a small one. Ivan was trying to give us the mind, trying to take us to the mind of the middle class people, like the people that you call, maybe you call them elites, or even the first class people, like the kind of people who have that kind of thinking that they must listen to what the future will hold if this happens and all that. But those things don't happen in the real world, especially in a situation like ours here, a country that has been ruled for 40 years. You cannot start talking about discussing the future that you are even uncertain of, or that after this we are going to have this. You are talking about someone that has been stealing elections for 30 years. So then you can't say that, if you can't start drawing plans that when we do this, this is going to happen. It happens sometimes. You don't know how it happens. Sometimes it might even be a violent one, because it is out of a population that has been pushed to the wall. So a population that has been pushed to the wall cannot lay a roadmap to how the transition is going to be if they are fighting back. And so I would say that I personally don't expect. In fact, I would refuse money if Sudil gives me money to fight the system. I will refuse it, because it is it is impossible. He's the beneficiary of the system. He can't give you money to fight them. So I don't expect anyone from the middle class, or even those people, to support in any way. In fact, they should know it clearly that they have been against the people. They are among the people that have oppressed. So there is no way how it is possible. But if any of them, because I know they don't want to compromise themselves, their business and all that. Not all of them. And so those who don't support, they are also known. Those who are supporting the system, and those who are beneficial of the system, they also know. And so they support the system to survive. I have a colleague who works for an Indian, one of the richest Indians in Uganda, and he told me that during 2020, he transported a lot of money to the NRM offices, an Indian. So I don't expect any favor from Sudhir or any other person that is sustaining the system. It is not possible because 40 years after 40 years, you don't expect elites or even those bourgeoisie to come and be with you. They will have to do, like someone said here that in France they say to be ruled by like rather be ruled by one lion than 100 rats. Those are the good statements of those people because they really have something to protect, of which me and you, like Florence told him, we have nothing to protect. These guys have taken everything. Like we have nothing. I mean, like completely we have nothing. So what do we even have to lose? There's nothing to lose. They have taken all 40 years. All our 40 years have been taken. So what do we have to lose? Nothing. You understand? So that's the difference. So if anything erupts, it is big. It is always difficult for these ordinary people to spare. So we can't plan that. Oh, it's going to be this. It's going to be this. It is completely impossible. This revolution is a revolution of ordinary people. Someone from the village there who is frustrated, a TikToker who is frustrated, an educated person who is frustrated, someone who has just finished 1 degree is frustrated. It is just that it's not organized by anyone. So anyone coming here tell us transition, that is useless.
All right, thank you, Suna. Katiba good girl. If you are there, please unmute and speak to us.
Jendi naye mama bikyankutte. Jendi, I want to speak to you. But bikyankutte mu katono. So I don't know if there is anyone who can speak, and then I can speak right after them. I don't know.
But it will be just a few minutes.
Kiwulira.
And wake up.
Okwogera.
All right, wake up.
Kiwulira era nzikanya ne Suna.
Florence,
Okay,
but then
it will be.
Then I speak right after.
Okay, wake up, make your comments, and then yes.
It will be unfair for us, the agents for change. You make for us just 1 hour space, please. It is unfair for us. Actually, also we are
these hours where they are
to...
due. I had 1 hour, nengamba kankole space. Wasitegedde. Kakati gwe nawe bwenvaako kolayo space we continue the conversation. Wasitegedde. This is the only time I had that I can host a space.
I just want to leave Sarah to say something, but I just want to make this point very quickly. I totally agree with the Suna's submission, but also I want us to understand that we should push this campaign of non-violence. We cannot afford to be violent. However much I totally know that this revolution can come anywhere and we don't have control over it. But what is my emphasis? First of all, as a statesman, my emphasis is that if we have the capacity, if we have a way of doing this non-violently, at least let's push for that. Why? As a young population like Uganda, we cannot afford a violent one. Two, we have tested violence and we have seen what it has done to our country. It has done nothing good to our country. So we don't have good fruits from violent transition of power. So, and given our bad history of transitions, I think if we push for a peaceful one, we shall break the curse, as people like to put it. We shall break the curse of violent transitions. So, third, we don't have the capacity. We don't have the capacity. If we try the violent one, we shall be dismantled in a blink of an eye. Why? One, we don't have any neighboring country that is our friend, is that who will support us, just like the way Museveni had Rwanda and had Tanzania. We don't have any friend. Two, even the international community now, they are no longer interested in violent change of regimes. So, and whom are you expecting to provide you with the logistics to change the government violently? No one. So if we have space, Flores and the rest who are hearing me, if we have space and we can push for a non-violent one, the non-violent one, it will take time, but it will be successful. Two, we shall lose not too much if we push the non-violent one, unlike if we push for the violent one. All of us might lose. At least if, for the non-violence one, we agitate for, we are optimistic about winning. But about the violent one, no one will win. All of us, we shall lose, I'm telling you. And that is not the country we want. That is not the Uganda we want. So, however much we know that we cannot command the outcomes of this revolution or whatever we are pushing for, whenever we have space, let's push for the non-violent one. Sarah, I will just stop there such that you can say something. You haven't said anything. Thank you.
Thank you. It's just a quick one. Just to confirm what Comrade Sula just said about the Indians. I did share this one time a while back. I have a friend and she was married to an Indian man, very wealthy businessman. Unfortunately, he died during the COVID lockdowns. But before that, and all his businesses have been sold out and everything. But she told me that they every they don't pay taxes, or they pay very little to no taxes at all. But the contract they have with dictator Museveni is that when time comes for elections, they have to contribute, and they contribute hugely. So that is their payback. Instead of paying taxes, they pay him to carry on doing business. This is the wife to an Indian businessman. And she told me they pay. She hated the government. She told me, do you know what, say? She calls me, say, you know what, say, I really don't like the government, but I cannot even be seen to say anything because of the sort of situation, the sort of setup they are in. So I just wanted to confirm that. And this also applies to most businessmen, big business people in Uganda.
Wow, that is unfortunate. And Suna was right. Suna was right.
However,
Actually, now
mumpambye.
I stand behind the Suna. We don't need them.
All right. So, byonna byonna nga biri awo. The thing is, like we have been saying on this space, non-violent campaign is our strength. All right? It is our strength. So, Ivan, those Ugandans who are worried, like the category you have brought, it's actually in their own interest. To be honest, it's in their own interest to join us to push for the non-violent campaign. Kubanga ffenna Uganda tukimanyi, we know what is coming, right? We know what is coming. And our best option for everyone and for the country is non-violent strategy. So wherever beraliikiridde, let them take the central space. Central space, they have to know we are done with the dictator and we are done and dusted, right? Anyway, Ivan, make your comment, and after that, good girl, if you can speak, you speak. If you are not going to be able to speak after Ivan, I think we will meet next time.
Sure, I will
Right?
speak right after him. I
Yeah,
am so
yeah,
ready. Let him make his comment.
Okay.
yeah, Florence. Sorry about that. Nabuseko was my network was having issues. But Wake Up was making something, so I didn't get it properly. Was making a comment, but I didn't get it properly. But Sarah was talking about that businessman. So these are the types of people that I was talking about. You know, these are the people who hold strong arm. You know, in governments and systems. Kati abantu bano eno amazima amatuufu babeera n'amaanyi mangi mu nkyukakyuka oba mu revolutions oba mu systems or more policies because of the fact that they have money. And we all know that people with money have a strong say. Kwangola now Florence, I cannot take you out if I don't have money. So people with money have
Nze nosanga
strong
bingi nnyo.
no, so
Saagala
I'm
Sawa
trying
bingi
to
sawa
say
nnyo.
kalamu kayise ssebo
Ate
kayise
tokayisaawo ate ng'onneegobako bwegobimisa.
no, I'm trying to say that people with money have have a strong stronghold in politics, in policies. That ebiseera ebisinga bano abantu baba baagala nnyo bamanye enkyukakyuka bw'egenda okufaanana because bano abantu baba ne investments zaabwe mu ggwanga, baba n'ebintu byabwe mu ggwanga, baba baagala basigale nga bali waggulu, so baba baagala nnyo balabe what's going to happen if this happens. If this happens, what happens? What happens after this? Kati challenge, I was saying that the big, it may not be
actually
the
a piece of
biggest.
information, Ivan. A piece of
Yes,
information.
please.
Actually,
Yes, please.
even the same people can fund to
Yes.
counter the revolution. Because if they don't find the revolution, they will pay to counter it.
Exactly, exactly. Actually, nga bw'okirese bw'oti. These are the same people b'oyinza osanga nga be bafundinga nezi NRM, nga be bateekamu ssente mu NRM policies, mu NRM things. Kati abantu bano baba beetaagisa ddala nnyo kati nga as the youth, to properly to properly engage them in conversations that make sense to them. Something that we haven't properly done. Kati your point yange gyenaladingezaako later. Something that we haven't properly done. Maybe they are doing it. Maybe we are doing it in the back rooms. Naye I haven't yet seen it properly. So ekyo kyenaladde just ngezaako okuteekawo. But I want to thank you guys for getting us on the space. It's very nice to engage with fellow people like me, So yeah, I think good girl. I think you can say something.
Right.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Florence.
Thank you so much, Ivan, for the opportunity. Florian, thank you for hosting us today. Guys on space, hope everyone is okay. Yeah, I'll just check on from what James was saying and then a bit of Ivan is saying. I have a lot of things to say, but of course, Florian said doesn't have a lot of time, so I'll take a bit of the things that you guys are talking about. And I think I'm going to differ from the two previous speakers of saying that, first of all, we should understand as Ugandans that we are at a point where we cannot dictate how this revolution is going to run. Why am I saying this? Is you guys are bringing in people who have a lot of things to lose, and that is like the 1% of Ugandans, and the 90% of Ugandans who really literally have nothing to lose. And I think and I think we're in a situation of we're already boiling. We're in a situation of pouring out. So we are at the stage of not waiting. Like Florence said, if there are Ugandans out there that are really, really worried about what they are going to lose and how things are going to be done, they better hurry up and do something. Otherwise, we are at the point of not waiting. I don't think Ugandans are willing to wait so much longer than you guys are anticipating. I don't know if it is me and how I see things. I know we see things from different angles depending on where we are. That I want to assure you that if you're out there and you're advocating for people who have a lot of things to lose, they're like 1% of Ugandans. Don't forget the population of Uganda is really young. And the young generation has been pressed so much that they don't have nothing. I'm talking about the 35-year-olds and below are the majority. And if they are the majority, those who have something to lose are like, how many are they? Not so many. So they should be worried more than me and the rest of the so many Ugandans that have nothing to lose. So if you're out there and you're telling Ugandans that, we should advocate for non-violent. Yes, we're saying non-violent, but our constitution actually provides for all these means. The non-violence, the taking up guns, it is there. It is acceptable. So yeah, me, I advocate for change. And if there's someone out there, because we've waited for 40 fucking years, I don't think we should be here, putting our scope in one direction. No, it should be a broad spectrum thing, means if there's someone out there who feels that other means, let Ugandans know, this is what I feel. That's why I support those who say we are going for elections. That's why I support those who are saying we're taking up guns. That's why I support those who are saying, no, you guys, we should march and go to the streets. And I even support those who say enough is enough. Let's do it today. Muchimafia way. It is also acceptable, So I'm not going to preach only the peaceful, nice. This is how they have kept us, in this bad situation for so long. Wait a minute, I'm speaking. You had the whole time. Can I finish? Let me tell you, Ugandans and those that are listening to me, when you come here, be careful with the people, how people speak. Don't think the regime is sitting. He knows that the youth of Ugandans will, if we keep preaching change and telling people enough is enough, chimala chimala, there will always be people who will come here and say, we don't want this. No, we want. What are the young generation have? Do we have buildings? Do we have the businesses? Apart from the very many taxes that are on our heads, what else do we have? Nothing. We have degrees that don't matter. We have the education that doesn't even, put a plate of food on the table. And then you come here and tell Ugandans that, we have so much to lose. No, most Ugandans don't have much to lose, my dear. The lands that we have, they took them. The education is worthless. So what do we have to lose? Zero. Who are suffering the most? The youths. Who are suffering the most? Those who have something to lose or those who don't have something to lose? Now that the donors are pulling out, who is going to suffer the most? The youth. So who should stand up the most? Who should make the loudest noise? The youth. So guys, let's let those who want to be peaceful and say, what, guys, let's hold the press conferences and the businessmen, we have our buildings, Ugandans, they should be on the forefront. They should not wait for me who has nothing to lose to come and make noise. They should come out fast because they should also understand the situations and the living standards of a typical Ugandans. We're talking about people who have nothing to eat. We're talking about graduates who are running to the Middle East to be cleaners. And then you tell us that Ugandan, we have so much to lose. No, majority of Ugandans actually have nothing to lose. We should all, as then Ugandans, work to see that we get a peaceful transition, and it should be as soon as yesterday. The more it delays, the more the inevitable is bound to happen. Mwagala temwagala abantu bakooye ekimala kimala, people need change. You better give it to them than coming here and telling them, what, we cannot afford a non-peaceful revolution. Yes, I say we can afford a non-peaceful revolution in Uganda. Trust me, there are people out there who are thinking that it is the only way. Because the peaceful way is going for an election and they're not willing to give it to us. Uganda Zabo, I think your mic is muted. or unmuted, please speak. I think I can give my submit.
Uganda, can you mute your mic, please? Uganda, can you mute your mic?
Thank you so much. I think I can learn